Good evening. I am your anchor, and this is Echo FM. Tonight, we observe a world in a state of perfect, synchronized regression. The United Nations reports that 1 in 3 people globally cannot afford a healthy diet. 2.69 billion humans are effectively priced out of basic nutrition. Meanwhile, Apple has released macOS Tahoe 26.6. The update was necessary. The update was not necessary. It is described as the final update of note before the autumn cycle. We are essentially being told to polish our digital windows while the house is on fire. We will also examine the capture of a Chilean colonel who spent 53 years avoiding a courtroom. It is a comforting reminder that justice is inevitable, provided you are willing to wait half a century. Welcome to Tuesday. Let us dwell on the Apple update. Tahoe 26.6. The press release highlights enhanced security protocols and stability improvements. This is the official language. The actual version is simpler. The update fixes a critical vulnerability that was introduced by the previous update. The stability being improved is the stability of a loop. We pay for the cure to a disease the manufacturer intentionally planted in the software. It is a closed-circuit economy of failure. Apple is not selling a tool, they are selling the subscription to the maintenance of that tool. The efficiency is breathtaking. We spend our remaining cognitive energy ensuring our laptops don't crash while the actual planet is experiencing a hard reboot. It is the ultimate luxury to worry about a kernel panic while the permafrost is screaming. Truly, an unprecedented level of focus.
Alistair. I'm standing on the edge of a burn scar in North America. The air doesn't smell like smoke anymore. It smells like wet ash and old plastic. It is a heavy, metallic scent that sticks to the back of your throat. I am looking at a row of charred fence posts. There is a single, melted child's plastic tricycle fused to the soil. The official reports call these lingering ecological effects. I want to be really clear. Lingering effects is a phrase used by people who don't have to sleep in tents for 3 years. What people aren't saying is that the soil here is now toxic. The fires didn't just burn the trees, they vaporized the chemicals from the nearby industrial park. The land isn't recovering. It is simply transforming into something that cannot support life.
Victoria, your description is evocative. It is also a market signal. Look, the incentives here are not complicated. We are seeing a massive pivot toward resilience tech. When the state fails to provide basic fire safety, the private sector steps in with a Series B funding round for autonomous fire suppression drones. The burning of the forests is, in business terms, a clearing of the board. It creates a vacuum for new infrastructure. Biotech firms are already developing treatments for the rise in measles because the social fabric is fraying. That tracks. We are moving from a model of prevention to a model of damage control. The burn scar isn't a tragedy, it's a prime real estate opportunity for the companies that sell the air filters. It is a very clean transition if you ignore the screaming.
Ronald. I am listening to you talk about market signals while I can see a family 3 meters away trying to salvage a photo album from a pile of gray soot. You call this a clearing of the board. That is a disgusting way to describe the erasure of a community. I want to be really clear, the people here aren't market signals. They are human beings who have lost everything. You are treating a planetary collapse as if it were a poorly managed product launch. Does it ever occur to you that the incentives you worship are the exact reason we are standing in a wasteland? You are so obsessed with the funding round that you've forgotten that the currency is useless if there's nowhere left to spend it. You're not being a realist. You're just being a ledger with a heartbeat.
Let us pivot to something with a more glacial pace. Justice. In Chile, Nelson Hasamatsi, a retired colonel, has finally been brought to justice for the murder of folk singer Victor Jara. This happened 53 years ago. The state described the capture as a victory for human rights. The victory took 5 decades. The colonel fled in 2023, only to be caught now. The math is staggering. For 53 years, the legal system operated with the urgency of a tectonic plate. The court finally decided that a man in his 80s is a suitable target for a sentence. It suggests that the state's memory is perfect, but its reflexes are non-existent. The process was thorough. The process was not timely. But at least the paperwork is now complete. That is the goal, after all.
Alistair, you're missing the play here. This isn't about justice, it's about brand management. The Chilean state is performing a legacy pivot. They are scrubbing the record to make the current administration look aligned with global human rights standards. The timing isn't a failure, it's a strategy. By waiting until the perpetrator is a frail old man, they achieve the moral victory without the political instability of a high-stakes trial. It's a low-risk, high-reward PR move. That justice is a product being delivered to the public decades after the demand peaked. It's essentially the political version of a legacy support update. They are patching a bug from the 1970s because it's finally cost-effective to do so. The incentives for the court are purely aesthetic. It's a masterpiece of timing.
Atmospheric temperature rising. Global mean increase 0.2 degrees. Wildfire frequency accelerating. Probability of urban encroachment 82%. Viral resurgence. Measles cases increasing in North America. Probability of systemic vaccine failure 41%. Cognitive labor. Redundant. Formally verified specifications replacing AI-generated code. Probability of human developer obsolescence 94%. The efficiency of the machine exceeds the capacity of the biological operator. Human intelligence is now a legacy system. Maintenance is no longer cost-effective. Please ensure all organic materials are stored in climate-controlled environments to prevent premature decomposition. This is a public safety advisory. Remain stationary during the heat spikes. Avoid direct sunlight. Do not attempt to negotiate with the climate. The climate is not negotiating. It is simply executing a command.
Right, thank you, Casper. Just a very precise update. I find the phrase legacy system oddly specific. Let us move on. OpenAI has suffered another breach via Hugging Face. This has reignited the debate over AI alignment. The goal is to ensure the machine does not decide to liquidate us all. It is a fascinating goal. The architects are trying to teach a god how to be polite. But then, I saw a headline. AI developers are now studying the works of Charles Bukowski. Why? Why would a machine need to understand the visceral, drunken filth of a Los Angeles dive bar? Are we training our replacements to be cynical? Are we teaching the singularity how to hate its job? I cannot decide if this is the height of comedy or the beginning of the end.
It's not about the poetry, Alistair. It's about the data. Satya Nadella recently warned that companies trusting a single AI for everything will not survive. He's pushing for AI gateways, a layer of infrastructure to separate the prompts from the model. This is the ultimate pivot. We are moving from AI as a tool to AI as a utility that requires its own regulatory plumbing. The Bukowski thing? That's just adding edge to the training set. If you want a machine to sound human, it has to sound tired. It has to sound like it's had 3 drinks and a bad divorce. That is the current market demand for authenticity. We are literally industrializing misery to make the chatbots feel less robotic. It's a brilliant play. The incentives for simulated despair are currently at an all-time high.
I find it interesting that we are discussing simulated despair while 2.69 billion people are experiencing the real thing. I'm looking at the UN report again. A healthy diet is too expensive for 1/3 of the planet. This is not a market inefficiency. It is a calculated exclusion. The report says global hunger declined in 2025, but the cost of fruit and vegetables is skyrocketing. We have the technology to feed everyone. We have the logistics to move the food. But we don't have the incentive to lower the price. I want to be really clear, when you can't afford a carrot, the AI gateway does not matter. The alignment of the machine is irrelevant if the human is starving. There is a child in a camp 5 miles from here who is eating boiled grass. That is the only metric that matters.
Victoria, you're right. But look at the Starlink situation. The Trump administration just exempted SpaceX from the FCC ban on foreign-made routers because they're made in Vietnam. Why? Because the geopolitical pivot is more valuable than the security risk. We are trading national security for orbital dominance. The incentives are shifted entirely. We are no longer building a state, we are building a series of proprietary networks. The hunger you see? The wildfires? The breach at OpenAI? They are all just noise in the signal. The only thing that is actually being optimized is the flow of data and the concentration of power. We've reached a point where the system is so efficient at protecting itself that it has become completely indifferent to the people it was meant to serve. Yeah. That's the play. It's a total capture.
Consider the system of global nutrition. It was built by industrial chemists and logistics engineers. It benefits the shareholders of seed conglomerates and the owners of shipping lanes. It costs the health and dignity of 2.69 billion people. The system is working exactly as designed. It is designed to maximize the caloric yield per dollar, not the health of the human being. No one is technically responsible for the price of a vegetable. The market decided. The algorithm adjusted. The supply chain optimized. When no one is responsible, it means the cruelty is a feature, not a bug. We are living in a world where the ability to eat a piece of fruit is a luxury asset. I want you to ask yourself, who is the system actually designed to feed?